Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with another Abzan Maverick League with Orcish Bowmasters. This card has been really strong. I've really enjoyed it in this deck, especially as a way to gain some sort of 2-for-1 advantage. It's pressure and disruption built in, which is really nice. And the mana cost of just 1 and a black is also pretty easy. It's also nice to have more creatures that we can just flash in our opponent's turn, which allows us a little bit more flexibility when we're not just tapping out each turn. So potentially, holding up Orcish Bowmasters or holding up Endurance or holding up Wasteland or Swords to Plowshares or even Once Upon a Time. A lot of things we can start doing at instant speed, which is cool. The biggest changes to this list compared to previous versions is the sideboard and looking at different cards we can play that have advantages in certain matchups. One Surgical still, I still like Surgical a lot, but I have gone with 2 copies of Fairy Macabre, which I do like in Once Upon a Time versions, allowing you to dig, of course, for Fairy. I could change this up to, let's just change this up to 3. There we go. That's much easier. That's much easier. Deafening Silence. I was gonna play Mindbreak Trap in this spot over the 2 Deafening Silences, just because I find a lot of the time online against combo, there are a fair number of decks where I just don't get my turn 1 to play the Deafening Silence. So if I lose a die roll and win game 2, I'm on the draw twice. So against a fast combo deck, which they are these days, and kind of have to be, you don't always get the time to play Deafening Silence, but you do get to play Mindbreak Trap. But Trap can be a little bit awkward. I think Deafening Silence just has a bit more range. It's a fantastic turn 1 play if we do get turn 1, especially against any sort of Dark Ritual deck, so I'm still pretty happy to have it. Hushbringer is a card that I haven't played with much, but I do want to try it. It obviously goes against what Bowmasters does with adding more ETBs to the deck, but I think against some of the decks like Initiative and Doomsday, it should be pretty strong as a Fiend Artisan target, so that's probably the big reason why I'm playing it over Torpor Orb. Containment Priest I've been really happy with, especially against other decks like Elves and Reanimator. Just a really nice 2-drop, especially when Elves is now playing Fiend Artisan alongside Green Suns in Natural Order. I think Priest is really good. The second Plague Engineer, I was thinking about playing a Zealous Persecution because this is typically for matchups like D&T or Elves where they do have multiple X1 creature types, but I don't mind having the body as well of Plague Engineer. Opposition Agent, just a really strong card. I do think the upside of having the Black Pip is a bit better than just Aven Mind Sensor, which is obviously a bit easier to cast. I think Agent can just really take over games, especially if you're stealing the card. And with Aven, there's sometimes where your opponent just has the hoof in the top 4 or the land they're looking for. So I do like that Agent is a bit more, you have to answer it before you want to search. Carpet has been amazing. Really happy with Carpet against meta denial decks like Delver. Choke, still big fan. Tear Under is a card I just want to try out as a way to answer the One Ring and also some other nuances like an early Vial or potentially a Cauldra. The Kicker is also quite nice in the mid to late game. And then Force of Vigor. I was going to play a third Force, but I think trying out Tear Under is interesting enough to see how that goes, so pretty happy to go with that. Hey Jack, hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying Brisbane life, other than the fire. League, nice. Gameplay. Thalia, obviously the X1s aren't great against Bowmaster, but it hasn't come up too often where a literal Bowmaster has dealt with a literal Thalia, so that's quite nice. I still feel that she has the spot in the deck that kind of allows us to have those extra turns against blue decks and combo decks. I did try out Aethersworn Canonist in that spot, being an X2, but I also found that then it was quite hard to attack with, because to play around the Bowmaster, you can't really attack because they can come down, hit it for 1, and then block with a token, and pretty much deal with it. So, pretty happy to keep this. Really nice hand. 2 mana, acceleration, swords for removal, Thalia for non-fair decks, and if she is if we're in a fair deck, we have Fiend Artisan to get rid of it. So pretty happy to keep this. There are ways you can pump up Thalia that I've tried out in the past, but none of them have been at a legacy kind of level when it comes to power. But this hand is pretty good, especially in the blind. The once probably just looking for a 3rd land. Potentially also looking for a mana dork, so we can just hold the green suns for either a threat or further disruption. If this is some sort of combo deck, we do have Collector Oof, which is nice. I did think about Gaddock Teeg as well in the board, starting to come up against a few fair decks, especially with the One Ring as well. It's a nice way to stop them from being able to cast it. Or a Karn. Panda, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Opponent's gone to 5 cards. Still having a think as well. But yeah, I recently did a video on YouTube talking about Orcish, so if you enjoy my content, definitely check that out. And the One Ring recently as well. Delta. Yes, you could run that if you were worried about second ones. Okay. Seeing that it's a Delta, I don't mind just going for Orcish Bowmaster. Although there are a good few options here. I don't want the Nurturing Peatland. I don't mind the Bowmaster. And then I'm happy to play the Bayou and Green Suns. A Bayou of their own, interesting. Spoils. Oof, okay. So Spoils of the Vault is choose a card name, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card with that name. So they're going to be a... It looks like a BUG Witherbloom Apprentice deck with Chain of Smog. Interesting. They named Dark Ritual. I wonder if they maybe hit either they only have 2 Witherbloom or they only have 1 chain. Maybe they only have 2 Witherbloom? What am I missing? Obviously these cards get exiled, so they've obviously exiled something that stops them from going off. So that makes me think they either have only 2 Apprentice or 1 chain. Interesting. Alright, so here we really want to go after, obviously, Witherbloom. Ah, there we go. Spoils, of course, takes a damage. Yes, okay. Deafening Silence I don't mind, especially against a deck playing Ritual effects. There's not too much that I want here. We did see Summoner's Pact, which is a search. Liberator. Knight. Swords is great. I might just take out 2 Noble for the 2 carpets. They did start on Bayou. Maybe not. Yeah, especially if they bring in something like a Plague Engineer to deal with humans. I don't mind the choke. Probably just endurance. I guess like in a perfect world you could have double engineer. This hand is interesting. It's got acceleration, it does have removal, and it's got semi 3 lands because of the Nurturing Peat land we can throw away. I don't mind keeping this. Their version isn't typically too turbo. Especially post-board, I assume they brought in some amount of cards to interact with us. But it probably makes me want to play a fetch and pass. Wow, they're going to pact right now. So they must just have like Ritual and Lotus Petal with the combo. Wow. Spoils. Tough. Probably not changing anything post board. I feel like we're just running this back. Hey, Autonomy, welcome. Hope you're doing well. All right. Pretty happy to keep this. Once finding a creature is obviously, a mana dork is obviously fantastic. Don't find it, but we do find a Bowmaster. Hey, very cool to hear. I'm glad you liked it. Hey, Elbab, very cool to see you. Thanks for shouting at the stream on Twitch, on Twitter. I very much appreciate it. Hope you're doing well in Spain. They might just brainstorm now to play around the Bowmaster, but they can just do that at instant speed anyway. But maybe they just want to use their mana effectively so that we don't go land pass. But plan here is most likely just buy you into Savannah into Thalia. 2 cards to the bottom as well for them. Okay. Wow, using a pedal as well for the preordained is pretty huge. 2 cards to the bottom. All right. I guess I should respond just in case they did bring in opposition agent. Just so they can't like ritual into agent. Because that would blow us up pretty hard. Really? Wow. Tough. Not too much we can do there. Maybe I think that hand is good enough to not not mulligan to a deafening silence. And especially like 2 preordain 4 bottom and then still have it is yeah, pretty tough to play around. So we will continue. Very cool to see though. Very cool to see. Because I think a lot of players would be like, why would you play, say, Bug with a Bloom when you can play Ant or Tess? And that game is exactly why you can play it, which is nice. All right. On the play. Urion. Pretty happy to keep this. I'm going to lead on the Canopy into Green Suns. I guess I could lead on the Peatland, but I kind of want to hold that just in case. I don't think that'd wasteland me. I think I might actually go. Yeah, I'm happy to hold the Black Source for now. No. No, we'll play the Black Source because then we get to potentially Orcish and Wasteland if they have a turn 1 play off a non-basic. Sure. That's pretty good. I'm happy just to slam a Thalia here, but obviously this is a really rough spot with the double pain land starts. Force pitch force. Okay. I kind of hope they go fetch pass. They don't. But an interesting color breakdown. I'm going to start with Wasteland on the Tundra because of white being Swords to Plowshares. And at least if they brainstorm in response, we do have the Orcish. So I could Orcish now to stop them from going land, hold up brainstorm, but I'm happy just to see what they do for their turn. And just because Cradle as well here, I'm actually happy just to play this Orcish now. Also happy just to once here. Maybe find another Thalia, which they did force before. Okay. Oh, we do find a Grist. Now that is going to be pretty good against this sort of deck. Nothing. Interesting. I think we're just going to go with wrist tick up. We hit a land, that's more than fine. I wonder if they have another one. Leyline binding. Okay. Kind of hope this is Uro. Well, Teferi's pretty good. Bounce a token, draw a card. Okay. I actually don't mind Orcish just kill Teferi and then hold up endurance. I haven't seen Leyline Binding in a while. Makes sense in this sort of deck, but you don't often see it too much. Not as much as Wizards of the Coast thinks you're going to see it. I don't think there'd be a Murktide deck, but they could be a deck that has some sort of value. Honestly, attacking with both seems fine. And then I will play the Hierarch. They could be keeping the Bowmaster around because we have these two draw lands. But getting another card into their graveyard for Uro is also pretty good. Let's float 3 here, because then we can actually put away some of these. Let's draw a card. Okay. Draw a card. Okay. It's actually not too bad. Especially after a Supreme Verdict, this is a real threat. Green Suns, alright. Noble first. Fiend. Pass. This mana here as well gives us access to Questing Beast. Potentially even just Ramanap into a Wasteland. But this is going to be a pretty grindy game. Is fine. So we can grist it because we can green suns for Outland Liberator. Two. I guess if we go like this. Let's have a quick think of our other options. We could also try to once for Caracas. That doesn't seem great. I guess we get to go Green Suns first. They're gonna force it. Well then let's once find Caracas off it. No, but that's fine. I don't mind just getting a fetch here. That also turns on Dried Arbor. Oh, Dried Arbor's been exiled, okay. Maybe then it's just ignoble. They did just exile one hero, so I don't think they will block here. Okay. Will take a little while for them to get that hero back. Sure. They have one card left. Yuri underhand. Okay. Maybe the Fiend attack was too aggressive. I guess we will see. Potentially, yeah, knowing about Yorion. It's nothing great to bounce here though, which is nice for us. Okay, that is a start. Wasteland doesn't take them off a color, so I think here I'm happy just to get Peatland draw a card. White, white, green, 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 blue, blue, blue. Black, black. Yeah, I don't mind Canopy here. Draw now. Okay. So they have Karakas with Yorion. Oh, they just passed back. Double sword. Take this out. Swords this. Attack for 4. We can't hold up double white here, or hold up the swords because we played a land for turn, but that is more than fine. They need one more card in the graveyard to get the Uro back, but then we have the swords for it as well, which is quite nice. Oh. Well, now we get the swords, which is pretty sweet. What did they hit? Bayou. Okay, we'll just get Scrubland. They did that just to get the Uro online. I love the backtrack in this song because it sounds like James Blake. I'm going to respond to the draw. Just so they can't like draw into blue card. Ooh, saxophone. Hell yeah. Sure. Green Suns would be sweet here because it allows us to... It's pretty much Green Suns. It allows us to hit that Leyline Binding and get back the Grist. I will play this just because of the mana. Potentially getting more mana next turn. Oof. Okay. Alright, 0 cards for my opponent. It's pretty good. Just going to hold that up. Especially if they draw Brainstorm, they're just going to, you know, play it straight away to try to draw into something to play with the rest of their mana. Another Uro is pretty good. I think we just kill the Halfling here. Interesting they didn't tap it for mana, making me think they want to keep it as a blocker. Okay. Green Suns for Endurance here would be sweet. Endurance itself. Knight's pretty good. So we get to attack for 4 with Exalted and then just play the Knight. Which will be big. It's an 8/8. So they want a loam here to get lands in the graveyard or something, so they can Uro again. Wow, they're a Mox Diamond deck? Didn't pick that. So we do get to ping them. It's a crazy long game. So I believe both draw lands are in the bin. Canopy and Peatland. We are just going to attack, I think. I could also return and then attack. I'm happy to attack and put lethal on the board for next turn. They go to 8. They're pretty much at 11. We might as well 6 here. I guess they're pretty much at 10. And he grows the York every time. That's huge as well. So like this nearly cuts off Brainstorm as a card. What's this gonna be? A 1 ring, okay. So drawing a card will cost 2, I guess? Oh, no, I can't. Okay. Guess I have to go up to... Questing Beast one time. Oh, Green Suns. Questing Beast. Oh, we can still find it. We can still find it. Oh. Close. Questing Beast still a really nice draw here. Or a Green Suns. I believe I've only cast 1 so far, so there's a pretty high chance. Sure. Green Suns, Questing Beast, still really good draws. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Honda chose to shuffle pretty quick. I assume they attack with Uro. Oh, they find the swords. Okay. Keep the exalted creature around because it does allow us to get through the delighted halfling, but potentially here we just want to hold back for the Uro. I mean, Caracas is pretty nice. Could have done that like beginning of combat, but I don't think it matters too much. Time's definitely a pretty massive factor here as well, with hopefully 2 more games in it. What just happened? Oh, they verdict? It turns off the ring, which is pretty funny. Not too much to comment on, and this is definitely a part of YouTube that I'd love to be able to cut out, and I should find the way to do it, because not really a whole lot to talk about. Obviously in the board here, we have a few cards to bring in. I think Opposition Agent, Tear Under, Carpets are all pretty strong. Maybe a Ferromacabre. Probably would rather Surgical in this specific instance, but I think we're okay. Sadly, my comedy is next to nil. Wow, they're just gonna... Wow, they're actually just gonna concede the first game. You'd think at least they'll try to get there in the second, but okay. So I like the Carpets, the Choke, a Tear, a Agent, probably a Plague, knowing that they are playing Orcs. What don't I like? They are playing Mox Diamond in the ring, but I don't know if... Okay, they're just gonna concede. Maybe they just don't feel like they can get there. So that's actually pretty cool. So, cool. That's one thing I will say about Maverick is that there's a lot of frustrating games you just have to play through because you could get there. But when it gets to a stage where your opponent has things like Leyline Binding and Swords Plowshares and Uro and Orcish Bowmasters, it does take a fair bit to just be like, just keep on tapping, taking your turn. Because things like Questing Beast, things like Karakas do get you there, which is nice. But hey, I hope you're all doing well. A big thank you for coming in and watching. A little bit earlier tonight, gonna try to double stream. So we'll get 2 in, just to keep the content flowing. Yeah, recent piece was around the Wondering and ways to answer that. You can find that if you're on YouTube already, or here. Yeah, I think 4th, I always forget the name of it, but I think that's a really strong card. That was definitely a pick of mine when the set was spoiled. It's like a really cool card, especially for 2 mana. Being able to steal the initiative is pretty strong. Let's take the Monarch, I apologize, which seems really cool. Yeah, I think 4th should definitely be in the scheme of things in terms of what I cover. Because, yeah, I think Mark's built a really strong deck. And to have that as like a late game mana sink, it obviously is really nice with Guy's Cradle as well. You don't lose the 2/2s. It could come at a cost of your opponent having to actually deal with the tokens with actual cards, which is pretty great as well. This person has 10 arms, so we're going to keep this. Pretty sweet. Turn 1, Acceleration. Turn 2, Acceleration. Turn 3, Beast. Potentially turn 2, Knight. A lot of options. I'm going to go for Savannah into Noble. I think that just opens up our mana a little bit more than Savannah into Ignobled. I guess Ignoble turns on Grist off the top, but we do have a lot of good cards to go into, so. Or I rob the trophy. Look at that. How can I rob that? All right. Let's hope they're also on a cool deck. I'm actually just picturing them like having drinks with their other arms, and like 2 are like typing and like 2 are like reading a book. Let's go for Savannah. And I think here we will go for Ignobled. They read with Braille. Oh, okay. We do have Green Sun's for Collector Oof if we get a turn here. I'm not even gonna look. It really comes down to them not having a key. Oh no. Okay, not too bad. Play Wasteland. Green Suns. Collector Oof. Okay. It's definitely a start. Saga, okay. So next time we get to Wasteland them and play Knight. If we draw Cradle, we get a Questing Beast. I don't think they play main deck Disruption. Oof, okay. Yeah, it's definitely attack with Oof. Wasteland Saga, play Knight. Don't you do anything. Don't you do anything. I could Wasteland the Tomb. I don't want them having a construct. But, like, even if they play a Karn, we have double Wasteland next turn. Like, what if they draw, say, Needle? Maybe there's a world. Yeah, I think it's just Saga. Okay. Okay, yeah. Definitely tough start for them. So luckily we do have the 2 Force of Vigors and we do have the Tear Under. I don't mind the Opposition Agent and the Deafening Silence. I think those are just going to do a lot more damage than other things. Like, this probably isn't a Plague Engineer match. I do like Questing Beast. I'm not a big fan of Endurance or Grist. Grist is interesting, but don't think it's where we want to be. I guess it can deal with Planeswalkers, which is nice, in case they have like some sort of Bridge and Karn lock. It could also just be the Orcish, but they are playing the Ring. But I kind of feel like we just want to get rid of the Ring before they can actually, you know, go for it. But it could also be some number of swords. Masked Vandal is green sunnable. The only reason I don't like it is because it also needs a creature to be in your graveyard, which isn't too hard, but sometimes it can be interacted with. Do they play... Maybe I don't rely on swords and I rely on just potentially Bowmaster taking out... I don't think they'll ever have a 1/1 construct. Maybe I do actually want like 2 swords and then take out 2 Bowmasters. Priest, Ferromacab. Maybe just another Orcish because it does go wide a little bit. This is an interesting hand, and Wasteland can really shut down some of the Tomb starts, but I feel in the draw I really need either a in-hand turn 2 Oof or Force of Vigor, and I'm pretty happy to mulligan this because with the way they go wide with artifacts, especially mana producing artifacts early on, 1 Wasteland most likely is not going to do a whole lot, and turn 2 Liberator on the draw is just a little bit too slow as well, so happy to mulligan that. A little bit slow again. It does have Deafening Silence, which is interesting. It does have Wasteland. 5 is pretty tough, especially the 5 being a 4 if we do want to try to mulligan for a Force of Vigor hand. I don't mind this and bottoming the beast, but it's very similar to the first hand. There are some good 5s though, let's be honest. Like, all we really need is 2 lands, Mana Dork, Green Suns. That's 4 cards. But I feel like this hand is... They kept 7 straight away, which is tough, but... Deafening Silence could buy us some time. But if we're doing turn 1 Silence, turn 2... Wasteland, then turn 3 we can play Fiend Artisan, but we can't even play the Fiend Artisan into a... Yeah. This is definitely a case of card quality over quantity, but I think here we just have to go for the quality. Let's say this hand is keepable, and then we'll mulligan. But just saying that it's keepable. This is not great, but the ones could find a source. So I think we probably bottom the Agent and the Thalia, to be honest, on the draw. And keep once to find a green source. Acceleration into Tear Under Liberator. Okay. Ooh, do they have the ring? 4 mana. Karn. Okay. Yikes. Untap, they have 2 mana, use one of it, so they have 1 mana floating into 4 mana. So a soul land off the top actually allows them to do a fair bit. They could also go for LED. Yeah, and then next turn go for... Okay. So maybe now we even have to go for... If it's a wasteland? No, we don't even find wasteland. Yeah, turn 1 Karn into LED, activate Karn, crack LED. Play Lattice. Let's see if they have the Lattice. I would assume in a Karn deck you have the Lattice. Oh, but if they Lattice, they lose the Karn. Because it goes to 1, right? Ah, now that's interesting. And then the Ignoble Hierarch attacks it, and then we have Tear Under as well. Yeah, there is no reason for a Karn deck to have no Lattice, that's true. So we actually aren't as dead as it might think. Even if they went for, say, Bridge here and played the Bridge, that wouldn't do anything, thankfully. They could go for Skyship. That might actually be a play. Yeah, they go for Skyship. Okay. Oh, Bowmaster, he would kill the Karn. That's pretty interesting. I never thought of that. Can you imagine that? So they have 1 card left in LED. That's pretty tough as well because they can untap, make a dude, and then crew this to kill the Outland Liberator. So I think here we only really have the Tear Under. So I think here we actually want to Tear Under just the Urza Saga right away. Because next turn we can play Verdant, play Outland Liberator, and then hold up activating it. So they have LED in 1 card. This also gives us a draw into Green Suns for... Okay, that's pretty good as well. Do they play the LED? Charles for 1? Manifold Key. Another 4. The 1 ring, that's pretty good. Come on, deck. I do have options here. I kind of want to hold this up for Dried Arbor and also sack. So I'm not going to sack right now, but I could get hit by something like Dismember potentially. That would kind of suck. They can Karn animate ship, but that means we could potentially draw into an exalted creature and then a trade off and then attack with a 1/1 or into a 2/2 into Karn. This is the sweet card. I really like this as like a Karn target. Really, really strong. Mm-hmm. This is also why I was talking about Teeg at the very start with sideboarding, because Teeg against this deck as well is another great card. The only issue with Teeg is once you have it in play, you can't Green Suns for something like Oof. You have to do it other way around if it does line up like that. Okay. Okay. 3 cards left. Okay. 2 cards left, 1 mana in the pool. 4 mana, potentially 5 with the Mox. Potentially 6 with the Manifold Key. Paradox. All right, now we 6. Especially with the ring here, being able to untap it with the keys is pretty good. That must mean they have another Karn. No, Mystic Forge, okay. But you can definitely see where it can go wide very early on. Like, this is only turn 4. So having those like Collector Oof or Force of Vigor Hands, or even the Deafening Silence turn 1, is pretty key, to say the least. And that is not a pun. That is not a pun. I think we can just concede here, to be honest. Like, they're drawing 4 cards a turn, and then also untapping all their mana with Paradox, so I can only assume they're going to find a win con pretty easily. Yeah. Running it back, I think I will just bring in the extra Orcish over the swords. That's probably the only change. Definitely not. Okay. We're probably bottoming just a second Thalia here. This at least buys us some time, which is nice. Hey, Punishing Waterfalls. Big fan, Matt. Big fan. Big congrats to your recent wins with different decks. Especially 8-cast, or sorry, the ring decks, or some pretty greedy decks. Do note here that I can't force because of the Thalia. Next turn I can. Ooh, okay. At least upkeep we can hit both of these. So a wasteland would be pretty sweet. A once isn't too bad. We can't do too much with it because once would cost 3, which taps us out. So I think here we just play the Cradle. We attack for 2. And then upkeep we take out the Grim and the Paradox. I could draw a card end step, but I think that's a little bit greedy given our mana right now. I think I'd rather see if we untap, if we draw into a land, we can just once into a wasteland potentially and hit the Ancient Tomb. But Saga's also quite good. Interesting. For a second I thought that was a workshop, like an actual workshop, and I was like, wait a second. We entered Legacy, right? Wow, okay. It's kind of like a Tron land. So they currently have 4 mana. A lot of the good things they want to do is at 5 mana, which is good for us. Hey Sahar, welcome. Hope you're well. Use that instead of Crystal Vein. It's pretty cool, because I guess like it's another Saga. And then I guess it's really only other Urza's Workshops and other Urza's Sagas that allow it to tap for more. Well, they play a key, okay. Well, that's their turn. I'm on Wasteland, that's all I want here. Dismember. We'll tap a mana. I probably want to use this now. Okay. This is actually a tough one because the Noble essentially gives me 2 mana with the Cradle. Wasteland's obviously quite nice here. They're down to 3 mana. Maybe it is worth it. I don't think I can allow them to untap with 4 mana. That's probably the reason that I take the Wasteland here. Okay. Yeah, can't let them Karn, for sure. We do now have 3 mana, so we do have Green Suns for Oof online if needed. Defense Grid, okay. Don't care about that too much. Alright, I'm going to draw a card here. Okay, okay. Just going to go after that city. Alright, that's your spell for turn. 2-drop or 1-drop? Nice. Okay. Ah. Ugh. Alright, deck, come on. Come on! Yes! Very nice. It's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. We're also 1-1. Oh. They go to 7, but we have 7. But I will... Yeah, they're 4-0, so let's concede, and we'll give them the win. Nice. The best we can do is 4-1, so I think giving them a trophy is much better. And it was cool games, so really enjoyed those. Ooh, a 1-lander on the play. Look, I don't mind it. We have a lot to do in Thalia and Outland Liberator and Swords, so... This could backfire, but, like, I'm a big proponent of don't keep 1-landers, but this hand has, like, just enough. Like, if this knight was a fetch land, that's a pretty perfect hand, let's be honest. Oh, Otawara into Ponder. Huh. Chose to not shuffle, so they can't daze, which is very relevant. So I think here the best play is just Thalia pass. Not showing a land is a little bit awkward, but look, here we are. Ooh, maybe this is show and tell? Otawara, Pedal, Ponder? Okay. That does give us access to Dryad Arbor. Hey, 10 Arms. Congrats on the 5-0. Very, very cool. I think I just got lucky with those green suns at times, so... I think game 2 definitely showed how powerful your deck is. Especially with Paradox and the Ring. And keys. Alright. I'm going to put it down to show and tell. Otawara and Lotus Petal. This could just be like a blue-green version of Omni. Wow, just an island. Maybe they're going to force this. Oh, they play Days? Okay, I did not expect that. It's a pretty big cost for them as well, though. Okay. Loma boy, too kind. Too kind. Hope you're doing well. Could also be Oracle. Oh, there we go. I think here we're just going to go for Knight and try to take out the Otawara. Unfortunately, we can't go 2-drop into Gaia's because we need the extra green source. I'm also going to tap like this. Okay. This also means if for some reason they are show and tell with days, we do have Outland Liberator put in and then sack with Savannah. Oh, okay. Bang. Wait, they put in Emrakul, but we have Knight for Caracas? Interesting. Okay, so this turn we have a bunch of mana. We want to play the plains. We want to... Actually, we get to just cast Knight. Play Fiend. Probably sack the plains. Get Caracas. Caracas this. Attack for 4. And then we still have 1 mana open for the Outland Liberator. They might also just have like a sneak, or potentially didn't want us to wasteland the Otawara. And so wanted us to take the turn to draw into the Caracas, but I think maybe their plan was just maybe the Knight deck doesn't play Caracas. Alright, we're up against Show and Tell. All of these are pretty good. These are pretty good. Hushbring is interesting if they're playing something like Atraxa or Archon. Typically, Swords, Plague Engineer, Ramanap Endurance. Maybe 1 Hierarch if we're bringing in the 2 carpets. Bowmasters. Collector Oof isn't great, but like it does interact with Lotus Petal. Turn 2 Thalia is what I'm looking for. Thanks, Matt. All the best. Have fun at work. Enjoy the stream. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's well. We'll keep this. As I said, turn 2 Thalia. We have some interaction in both Caracas and Force. Opponent having to play the Otawara was a little bit awkward as well. Especially to go Otawara into Island, Island, Island. One thing to note here is that I don't want to go Forest because Forest into Dryad Arbor gives me 2 green, which means next turn we have to play a white source to play Thalia. If I go Savannah this turn and go for Dryad Arbor, I get to play Thalia off the Savannah and Dryad Arbor and then either play Caracas to hold up protecting Thalia or Wasteland them. Wait, people don't watch it work? Wait, you guys are getting paid? Love it. Ooh, okay. Ah, this card. At least if it becomes a copy, we get to Caracas it, which is nice. But it is a little bit scary. Especially if they like Brainstorm here. Show and Tell on top. Okay. Honestly, just to play around. Ooh. Huh. I really want to bait with this. Nice. That's fine. So they pitch a show and tell. I think I have to play Caracas here. And then I don't think I can play the Thalia. Just because if something on top does come through, I'm dead. So I can't allow this to become a legendary creature that I actually care about and attack me. But that's a huge force. Oh. Okay. That's pretty good. Is that better than Thalia? Tough spot. I don't think so. I think Thalia right now is actually fine. I think I also should have just played Thalia and then played Wasteland. I'm also not going to get in here because I potentially might want to force. I don't believe this game will come down to that 1 damage. But you never know. Next time we get to Wasteland and play Knight. Knight'll be a 5/5. Very nice. Ooh, is this the show and... Oh, okay, just a ponder. Alright. I'll put this over here. This is fine. We do have the needle. We do have the force for it. Thanks, 10 Arms. Okay, we definitely want to... Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh! Oh! That was close. That was close. Oh, my gosh. I nearly didn't see that. Oh, now they also don't get to play it? Like the creature? Oh my gosh. Now that was... Can you imagine if we draw like another knight? Well, pretty much another knight. So we get to go... Wasteland on this. I honestly don't mind just going for Grist here. No, I can't because it's 2 mana. I could go for Fiend Artisan. That's kind of cool. Maybe I actually just go for Outland Liberator. No, that's not great either. That thing is a 2/4 flyer. I think we just hold it for a turn. I'm actually really happy that we didn't attack with the Dried Arbor there as well and spoke about how the one damage didn't matter that much, but oof, could have gotten pretty bad. All right. I guess we should go for a black source, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This should close it out. Might even be force pitch the 2 mana. Days? No. Oh. Dress down? I do prefer older cards. I do prefer old border, yeah. I would say if I was going to bling out a deck these days, I would just get all the original printings. Which is a big reason why I really like, not old school, pre-modern. Pre-modern as a format, those decks look really nice to me aesthetically. Oh my gosh. Did we take out Beast? We did not. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do know there are retro frames, but I do like the Conflux. But I should check them out. I might even have... No, I don't think I do. Nice. I want to open those chests. A big thank you, 10. Too kind. Yeah. Oh, get a Ren? Is Ren good? I feel like Ren should be good. It's like 18 ticks. Nice. Very cool. And, Saruman. Nice. Nice, 10 arms. A huge thank you. Do I have... No. Just the Conflux. Too kind, 10 arms. Too kind. With the Karn One Ring... I'm not sure what the name of the deck is. Like, I don't think it's Dice Factory. Like, Karn Forge. I think I've heard of it being referred to as Karn Forge. What are kind of the flex spots in the deck, if there are any? And what are you playing over other decks? Or are you kind of playing what would be considered the stock list at the moment? Especially with Karn, I feel like there's a lot of nice flex spots potentially in the board. And then with Saga, potentially in the main deck, you could play something that isn't too stock. The sweet deck. I believe someone, Nick, shout out to MTG Mate, who do sponsor the channel and sometimes have promotions. But yeah, Nick does play the deck, I believe, in paper, which is cool. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, big shout out to MTG Mate, who do sponsor the channel and are probably Australia's best online service for MTG singles. You can also find them at local LGS stores for buy-sell days. And recently got an influx of, obviously, Lord of the Rings stuff, which I helped put the stock together. But yeah, big shout out to Nick and the team there. A big happy birthday to Paul for the other day. Also have a pretty cool tournament coming up for Brisbane/Queensland folk, so keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Alright, on the play again, which is really nice. with a 1-lander, but it does have one, but... Huh. Really want to do a stint at QT? I would to QT. QT is a pretty fantastic university. Pretty happy to mulligan this once. I want mana online like this, and I can bottom a knight here and be pretty happy with what we have. Alright. Keep bottom knight. It has a great games. It has like an esports kind of like center as well, which is very cool. I believe they sponsor a team, which is cool. Bauble, okay. Potentially Delver wanting to fetch and know if they want to play a fetch or play like a Volk. If they're baubling themselves. Thoughtseize, okay. I think in this spot next turn I'm happy just to Wasteland and Green Suns for another Mana Dork. Getting Ignobled here also turns on Orcish, which is pretty sweet. Here's a question. For those of you who watch Twitch and watch my streams, how much would you like for there to be a card preview sort of up over here? Like chat be smaller and then like just like the card preview so you can always see what card I'm hovering over or things like that. It's always tough because I feel like being a legacy streamer, you get legacy players who most likely know like what the cards are. Yeah, it does take up a lot of space, which is a big thing. You like it? Personally don't need it. I think if I did like 7-point on the channel, 7-point Highlander being a singleton format, you do see a lot more cards that aren't really like mainstream. If they Wasteland us, okay, I was gonna say that's more than fair. Here I'm happy to draw a card because we have so many good 2-drops to draw into. Usually. Thoughtseize, Bauble, Underground Sea, Wasteland. What do we think this player is on? I'm going to assume it's Grixis Delver. Oh my gosh. Grixis Delver, yeah. I don't think it's a combo deck given the Baubles and the Wastelands. I know that Brian was talking about Tess going towards Baubles, but obviously Wasteland doesn't really see play in that deck. For what Hushbringer, Initiative, Death and Taxes. I don't mind it versus Reanimator because of both Atraxa and Archon. But any sort of decks that get really, even the bug midrange, like the bug scam deck, like hitting like Grief, Baleful Strix, Uro, there's just like a lot of cards. Obviously Doomsday and Breakfast, yes. I think they're probably the better ones because it doesn't hit your creatures as much. Let's go for the Carpets. Let's go for the Choke. I think that's going to be it. The Oof can come out. The Outland Liberator can come out. I don't like double Plague Engineers. I don't mind dropping down on a Hierarch for the 2 carpets. They can just play the Uro, that's correct. Oh, okay. This is probably going to be a mulligan. It does have double Wasteland, but if they play a turn 1 drop, then kind of screwed. Pretty happy with this hand. I think here we're bottoming the... It's actually a tough one. I kind of want to go Bayou into Dried Arbor Dried Arbor, and then we have both. Maybe not. Maybe it's Savannah into Dried Arbor, and then we can Swords and Thalia, and then we have Nurturing Peatland Bowmaster. So I think it's the Peatland because we have a lot of time to draw into it. But getting mana online against Delver is also a big one. I could see a world where you keep the 3rd land, just because of how important it is to hit every land drop, but I think we're okay with this, especially with the Green Suns for Dried Arbor. And it's a pretty low curve. It's like one more land off the top is perfect, so I think that's okay. But yeah, I would say the Hushbring is kind of a card I just included because I wasn't too sure what else I could play in the board. Like if I did want more, like another Planeswalker for like sort of the mid-rangey decks. I don't mind Kaya. The 4-drop Kaya is pretty sweet. Especially getting rid of Sanctuary Pass. Okay. At least that makes Days a lot worse as well. Huh. I still want a Savannah here. And they let that happen pretty easily. Maybe Bayou, like just so we have all colors, but I do like the thought of being able to double spell turn 2 if they do have a creature still. I'm happy just to slam the Thalia here. Wow, it just happens. So even if they have like land Murktide, we just have swords. Wow, they tapped the Wasteland. I would have been really keen to go after the Wasteland there with like Bolton Wasteland pass. And then you get like another turn to draw a card and then have like a deeper look with Ponder. Because now we're kind of forced into Green Suns. I guess if they have like Days, then it's better. We'll go for Ignoble because it does turn on black, which our hand currently is. There are also 2 bolts down, which is good. Okay, well now that does happen. And Wasteland, yeah. Maybe Greedy. Yeah. Happy to leave these for now, though. We do have a lot of outs to them, thankfully. Just because of our hand, I'm not too worried about swordsing at the moment. But yeah, as I said, mana's a big concern against Delver. Hmm. 3, 4, 5, we go to 10. I'm happy to go to 10 and then swords in end step. Because if they play a second main Murktide, I do want to swords that. Yeah. No days, wow. Oh. I mean, the orcs kind of get the board down. We just have to draw into another land here. Hey Bob Mans, welcome. Yeah, the fetch actually kills us as well. We are just going to run this back. We could play the Hierarch. I don't mind going up a mana. Potentially the Beast is just not where I want to be. Potentially the extra Plague. I don't think I need the Plague. I kind of feel like Orcish Bowmaster is just a Plague Engineer in this matchup. Happy to keep this. Next turn, potentially waste swords and also ignoble. Kind of like a triple spell on turn 2. I could hold up Orcish around days, but I think that's too much of a giveaway here. Bauble themselves. See if they want to fetch or not. They do fetch. I actually think in response to the fetch, I'm happy to play Orcish. It means they can't daze it, which is pretty huge. And I don't really care about pinging a creature right now because we have Plague Engineer to do that as well. There's only one card I care about, and I hope I don't see it here. Okay, that's not it. Ooh. Now that's nice. That nets us 2 mana potentially. Yeah. 2 mana, so I can play around double days if I want with the choke. I think I'm okay with that to do this. Alright, couple triggers. Let's make green. Play choke. Wow. They didn't force the carpet. Really interesting. Hey Jerry, too kind. Hope you're doing well. Interesting, they attack with both. Not too sure what that means. Alright. So I could attack with the Orc here for 4, or attack with the Ignobled Hierarch. And that way, if they have a bolt, then I just lose another mana, which I don't really mind. I don't really want to get this bolted because it's actually quite good at just keeping these at bay. And there's the bolt. So, not too unhappy about that. That's fair, they could have not gone after the carpet because we already had mana on board. But they also have a lot of outs to taking us off mana and things like, wow, they attack with both. Ooh. Honestly, here we say no, like we draw a land and just attack with the Dried Arbor for 3. They have 2 cards left. And there it is. Bang. There we go. That's what you want to see. Nice. We also get a chest. Which is pretty cool. That was a pretty nice... 3/2/4/1, which is nice. We're going to run this back. I'm just going to run back probably the exact same list. But I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll reset. To all those on YouTube, a big thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or to comment on anything you saw tonight where you saw a better play. I'd love to know.